What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and Joe Rogan did a big oopsie. Well, a big no-no topic. It's a extraordinarily... Listen, Susan or random people in a warehouse that review my videos, I am not offering any advice. I am not refuting any medical information. I'm just covering Joe Rogan's comments. Okay? Are we good? By the way, if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet, if you're just watching as an unsubscribed viewer, I appreciate your view. But I would also really, really hope today would be the day I earn your subscription by clicking that red subscribe button down below the video. Helps new people find the channel, helps finding my videos much easier, and I really appreciate it. So I see Joe Rogan trending on Twitter, and apparently it's over a hot take where he is simply saying that, you know, young, healthy people perhaps are, I don't know, less, he's using actual data, right? Young, healthy people are probably don't need to be in the front of the line. That's his opinion, right? And Twitter is losing its mind. Now you see Hotep with a more base take saying, what did Joe Rogan say that was wrong? The authoritarian power structure wants to discourage independent thought and encourage wrong groupthink. They want you in a state of fear so they can increase control. And you see Jack Posobiec here. Posobiec saying, Empire about to go full bore on Joe Rogan for Koof Wrongthink. Liz Wheeler saying, you know, he's correct. So what he's basically saying is, you know, in his opinion, YouTube, that young people don't need to accept any additional risk into their life, however small it may be, because they're not really affected in the same way that obese people are, for example. If you're young and obese, then yeah, but that's not what he said. He said if you're young, you're eating right, you're working out, you're taking care of your body, you're probably going to be fine. That's his opinion, okay? But the far left, you know, again, I don't understand, you know, in my opinion, obviously this is a very personal issue. You know, people can do with what they want with their bodies. I don't have any opinion on what you should be doing that way. But certainly, you know, people want to get out there and protect themselves, and that's cool. The only problem I ever get, or the only critique I ever have, is when it becomes like this weird religious thing. Like, if you want to go get your poke, do it. Cool. You know what I mean? Especially people in at risk. They really should. But this like, oh, I'm doing a selfie while I'm doing it. Oh, I got a sticker that says... It's really weird. All right? Get your poke. That's cool. But this church of the poke, the priest Fauci worship is bizarre. And people... I mean, the thing is, Twitter really hates Joe. But I'm wondering if Spotify is going to remove this. I bet you they're going to. Obviously, Spotify's Joe Rogan encourages healthy young people to not get the poke. His show is Spotify's most popular podcast. Quote, if you're 21 years old and you say to me, should I get it? I'll go no. That's not exactly his complete statement. What he said was, if you're eating right and you're working out and you're taking care of your body, you know, that's what he said. Now, of course, we have all of the normal censorship agencies out here. Spotify's Joe Rogan encourages healthy 21-year-olds to not get the poke. Again, not what he said. And you see here, complex.com, Joe Rogan is telling healthy young people they shouldn't get the poke. Again, not what he said. He's just using, you know, data, saying that, you know, young kids, for example, are not at an ultra high risk. And the idea that parents, you know, might be pressured into doing it, he has questions about that. You see, during the April 23rd episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the host sat down with comedian Dave Smith, who, as the two discussed the poke and their thoughts on young people getting it. Rogan's comments are now making the rounds of social media via a clip from the episode. He says, I think you should get it if you're vulnerable. He literally says that. I think you should get it if you feel like, if you feel like my parents are. I've encouraged a lot of people to get it. And people say, do you think it's safe? And I've said, yes. I think for the most part, it's safe. I do. What part of that is him saying, don't get it? Now he says, when it comes to healthy people, he says he doesn't think young and healthy people need to worry. Now, yes, there are people who are young and have had bad things happen to them, and have had really bad cases of it. And that's fine. But he is using, what he's saying is I think the general rule now is if you're not a doctor, you should probably not be offering medical advice. But is it just me, or does it seem like medicine has become politicized? And it's weird. Like, I trust my doctor, right? Like, I trust my doctor. But TV doctors are weird to me. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying it's weird when they're celebrities. I just like to go see that same old guy who's told me to turn my head and cough for the last 30 years. And he's just said, if you're 21 years old, you say to me, should I get it? I'll go, no. Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Look, like, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person, you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, I don't think you need to worry about this. So it isn't 21-year-olds. It isn't young people he's saying. He's saying people that are in, peak physical condition. It's not, in his opinion, it's not a huge risk. That's the thing. And people are really angry at him. Anytime he goes against the cult, the blue check marks lose their ever-loving minds on Twitter. Now, they talk about the passport, too, which is insanity. The idea that to get, to travel, I think Europe has it now, to travel. The idea of it is that you have this card that shows you've had it. And again, I'm saying that, yes, there are young people that are at risk and who have gotten sick and had lifelong damage from it. I'm not a doctor, so I don't tell people what they should and shouldn't do. What I do worry about is when things get politicized, when, essentially what he's saying is, like, if you're in peak physical condition, it's not an emergency. That's what he's saying. I don't know that that's a safe take anymore, especially on Spotify. I'd be willing to bet that they're going to delete this episode or delete that section of it. You see here, one of the reasons he invited David Smith onto the experience was to talk about the passports. Rogan told him, I share your deep concern about this idea because it's not something they're going to just keep with the coof. Exactly. They're going to start adding all sorts of stuff to it. Rogan added, if there's a way to get you to show your papers and to show whether you have an app on your phone or whatever, to have this freely travel around the United States, they're going to keep that effing thing. He's 100% right. Smith, a New York-based stand-up comic and self-described libertarian who hosts Part of the Problem and Legion of Skanks podcast, who is often seen on the Greg Gutfeld Show and Fox News and Kennedy and Fox Business. Of course, that's their way of like saying, ooh, he's an evil man. Told Rogan, I think objectively the country went totalitarian for about a year. Not every single part of it was as the rest, but according to governors, out of their own words, they suspended the Bill of Rights. We've been in a year under that. How long do you think we can go living in a totalitarian society before that's just what our society is, and there's not really a memory of the old normal, or at least seems like the old times? And that's not what we want anymore, and we're dangerously close to that position. I don't disagree with them. the idea that like if you cough you feel like nervous or you look around, it's weird. I don't like it. Now some things are necessary, but as we're learning more, look at the MIT study came out yesterday saying when you're outdoors you don't need to. Even the CDC has changed their position on that. So how long have we been wasting walking down the sidewalk? People, I see people walking their dogs wearing a mask. I'm like, who's that for? Who is performative? Is it for you to take a selfie and say, hey, I'm out walking my dog, hashtag stay safe, hashtag we're in this together, hashtag get the poke? I mean, that's fine if you want to, 100%. But I'm just against, any kind of legal backing to that. And you see, basic freedoms. Smith told Rogan, I can tell you what I can't. I'll tell you what I can't stand. Makes my blood boil. Is when they use your basic freedoms as a negotiation tool. When they're like, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, maybe we'll let you have restaurants. Maybe we'll let you have this. Like, who the F are you? Now you're using my freedom as a carrot on a stick. What kind of sick stuff is that? He added, now we have this opportunity where it's like, hey, Joe Biden says everyone who wants to take it will be able to take it by June, he said. And that's perfect little opportunity point for us to go, okay, so we break out of it now. Now we break out of it. Now you've got to make a sound argument that if it's available to everybody and the people who want it can go take it and the people who don't are choosing not to, now we can go back to normal life, he continued. At the same time, they're proposing passports, which really is, if you look at the proposals, not a passport. It's an app with your medical history that can be tracked. Your location can be traced. All of these things. It's absolutely frightening. And when even mild pushback against this is treated in the way that it is, I find it extraordinarily unproductive and only feeds wild conspiracy theories. You need to have, opposing points of view out there. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem with people believing even factual evidence. Good luck, Joe. I'm assuming there's going to be a major backlash from Spotify over this. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.